Okay, so this week we're looking at different types of graph, and the first one we've got to do is construct a stem and leaf plot for the normal ones. So, first thing that we're doing is setting it up. There's our stem and leaf. Alright, stem and leaf. We'll pick our smallest number, which looks like it's 30. And our largest is 64, so our tens go from 30, 40, 50, 60, and then we put them in one at a time. So there's our 30, 31, then we've got 34, 34, 34, 35, alright, 41. I was at 50. I know that's going to be at the front. What else we got? 42, 43, 44. 42, 43, 44. 50 we've done. 51, 52. 54, 54. 55, 55. And a 64. Now again, it's important to count so I haven't missed out any. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Good. And make sure you do a key. So for example, 4 and a 7 would be 47. So just explaining what it would be. Alright, so make sure you mark that one. Now the second one, we're doing a back-to-back stem and leaf. And we've got girls and boys, similar to the instruction video at the start. So we're drawing our back-to-back stem and leaf here, and we're going to set it up here. So then what we need, alright, so I'm going to write the girls on the left and the boys on the right. So we need to find the smallest out of both. So let's have a look. There's 30, there's one in the 30s there, I think that's pretty small. There's one in the 90s. So we're going to go 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90. Alright, so now let's do the girls first. Only in the 30s is a 35. Done. 40s, 43, 47, 43, 47, 50s, 52, 54, 57, 60s, 63, 64, 71, 72, we have 80s, 82, 83, 85, 86, 2, 3, 5, 6, and that's all of the girls. Right, now let's do the boys. So 32, 41, 44, 53, 63, 64, 65, 74, 76, we've got 82, 86, 87, and 90, 93. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 14 numbers. So I'm just going to make sure I've got 14 numbers on both sides. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 13, 14, and the key. So now with the key, it's kind of like you need to draw out the table again almost, because it's got two different sides. So for example, if there's a 3, a 1, and a 2, that means the girls would be 13 and the boys would be 12. So it's kind of like explaining how to work out like an example of each one. Now you can't rush these questions. They're easy to do if you go slowly. But if you rush it, you're going to get them in the wrong order and you're going to miss a number. So it's very important you take these ones slowly. Number 3 is our pie graph. Now, the missing column is degrees. To plot a pie graph, you need to know what degrees they're in. And you should know that the degrees in the circle adds up to 360 degrees. So what we're going to do is we're going to add up our frequency. So 24 plus 12 plus 36 plus 72, which adds up to 144. Oops, 144. Now we need to get from 360 to 144. So what we do is we type in 360 divided by 144. I'll write that over here, which equals 2.5. So to get from there to there, we multiply it by 2.5. So each of these numbers we're going to times by 2.5. So 24 times 2.5 is 60. 12 times 2.5 is 30. 36 times 2.5 is 90. And 72 times 2.5 is 180. Now if I've done this correctly, these four numbers should add up to 360, so let's just double check that. 60 plus 30 plus 90 plus 180. It does, so we've done it correct. So this is what you need to draw, and you could use a protractor to draw these, or your graph could be cut up into sections. Now our pie graph here has been cut up into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12 sections. So 360 divided by 12, I'll write that here, divided by 12 section is 30. So each one of these sections is 30 degrees, which means our Toyota is 60 degrees, so that's two lots. So your Toyota sign would be these. I'm going to do a big T for that one. Toyota. Our Holden is 30 degrees, so that's just one section. Our Ford is 90, so 30, 60, 90. And there's our Ford. And finally Mercedes is 180, which you should know is half a circle, so there's our M. It's much easier to see if you did them in colour, but basically this graph, you should write the whole word or write it afterwards. So Toyota is two section, Holden 1, Ford was the 3, and your Mercedes is half the circle. So take your time with that, and you must have how to get from here to here. You times it by 2.5 in this situation. Last question is our histogram. So we've got continuous data. So we need to first of all put these heights into our frequency table. So 130 to 140. So this is including 130. But not 140. So everything begins with a 1 and a 3. So let's count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. 140 to 150. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Our 150s. 1, 2, 3, 4. Our 160s. 1, 2, 3, 4. And our 170s. 1, 2, 3, 3. I'm going to add this up. So that adds up to 42. Now I'm just going to check how many numbers I've got here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 14 times 3, which is indeed 42. So I haven't missed out any numbers, so it's quite important that. So now we need to plan our scale, and this is where a lot of us are going wrong. So we need to put this table onto our graph paper or onto our grid that's provided. Now we know that our frequency must go up to a maximum of 18, so that's going to be quite difficult to get there. So it goes up to 18, so if I plan this I could go up in 2s, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14. Yes, I'm going to go up in 2s on my frequency. Now, my height, even though it starts from 130, I want to start from 120 and I want to finish on 190. This is quite important. We do this when we do the frequency polygon. So I need to start off with 120 and go 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90. So I'm planning out where my scale is going to start from. So I'm actually going to start from this point here. So now I'll show you what I'm going to draw. So to fit my scale on, this is my scale. Now you could have done it slightly differently, but this would be our most ideal. So remember, this does take a bit of time. So if I'm starting at 120, I'm going to do my x-axis first, go across in 4s. Let me just plan this out. 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90. It just fits in. So I'm going across 4 squares for 10, and remember, we start earlier. 130, 140, 150, 160, 170, 180, 190. Now, frequency must start from 0 here, and because I'm going up to 18 was my maximum, so I've gone up in 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Yeah, that could be good enough. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, and I'll go up to 20. This is our frequency, and this is our height in centimeters. So I've got my scale in. That will take you the longest. You've really got to slow down and plan it. A lot of students want to rush the scale. Don't do that. Now I can put my bars in. Between 130 and 140 is 18. So 130 to 140 goes up to 18. Now your bar, unlike a column graph, must have 0 gaps. It must go exactly from 130 to 140. So really make sure. So from 140 to 150 is 13, 10, 12, 13, across 4. The next two are at 4, 2, 4. I'll do 2 bars at once here. And the last one is at 3. And I've got my gap at the start and gap at the end. Now that is your histogram. You've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bars that are stuck together because this is continuous data. So there is your histogram. And now it says in the question, including a frequency polygon. Now, a frequency polygon, is you plot the middle of each of the bars, join it with the middle before and the middle afterwards. So you see my crosses are in the middle. Then you use a ruler. Obviously you won't be able to see that line there. So that's why you need the gap before and the gap afterwards. So like I said in the table, even though it goes from 130 to 180, I did another same width bar before, same width bar afterwards. It is important. The final question is comment on the trend of the histograph. Well, most of our data is on the left-hand side, and we call that positive or a positive skew. So that's positive, it's all down this side. If it was all down this side, it was called a negative skew. And if it's just a nice triangle, we call it symmetrical. So that's how you get them. So make sure you mark everything this week and go through this slowly.